Arc. Oh, is it starting?
Did you say all the magic words?
No.
Oh, they're up. They're early.
All right. There's magic words. I don't know if there's magic words. Can you guys hear us? I saw us for a second. So, hi guys.
Hey.
We're currently watching commercials on the other screen, so I think we're live. How do we sound?
Oh, there he is. Look at that guy. Look at his hair. His hair drives me insane. His freaking hair drives me insane.
Can't see anything.
Refresh. If you can't see anything, refresh your screen. You should be able to see us.
And get ready to
I can see
roll
us.
for initiative.
All right.
Well, he just said roll for initiative already. I'm done. I'm done. I've been here 10 seconds. I'm done.
All right.
That's where all the chat's going on. That's the cool stuff.
I know. Hi, everybody.
Hold on, guys. Let me
welcome to
change
the,
this real quick.
Neverwinter State of the Game stream. Thank you for joining us. Oh, my tea. I brought tea for those of you who were already in chat earlier because I don't want to cough all over them.
That's fine.
Because, yeah, I was sick all last week.
All right.
And I brought whiskey, so we're good.
Can I have some?
No, I don't drink whiskey.
Here we go, boys. Is the sound good for you guys?
Oh, Kraken rum is really good. So, what do we have in store today? So, State of the Game, for those of you who've watched them in the past, we kind of just do an overview of where the game's at. This year, it's actually divided into 3 separate sections.
Ooh, 3 separate sections. Let's go.
Because we really want it to be a review, but also looking towards the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me check in, make sure we're good. We're still good. Okay. And the first section is going to be just a quick review of last year, like all that we released, and what our thoughts were on that. The second part will be a current hot topics. I narrowed it down to 3. I know there's a lot more than 3, but because we only have an hour of Thomas's very demanded time.
And that's what I love about our players is they're really good with feedback, and so we're actually I'm excited to be able to speak to that and to talk to you guys about stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, and then the last section, which I think
I clicked the wrong button.
You guys will probably like the most because that's when we'll open up to Q&A. The first 2 sections, we're just going to talk. And then the last part, we'll be talking about the future of the game, but also reading your questions. So if I'll be looking at the camera kind of both sides. So.
And I'll just get one of those questions out of the way right now. No, I am not a tiefling that's had his horns removed.
Really?
No, I am not a tiefling. Okay, Thomas Foss, thank you. Thank you for explaining that you are not a tiefling.
Yarp. So, also between each section, I got the giveaway thing working.
Oh, super.
So
cool.
we can give away Rainbow Starry Panthers.
Oh, Rainbow Starry Panthers! There you go, guys.
And I might be able to give away a title or 2.
That'd be
Oh, a title?
I have the title
we got good giveaways today.
So I know which one you want.
Aren't they D all the above?
So yes, we will be doing giveaways in between each section. So let's get rolling because we only have an hour.
Yeah, let's.
All right.
Sorry, I'm clicking buttons, guys. I'm clicking buttons.
I'm gonna put a little slideshow in the back so you guys can kind of get a picture.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So here's just some images from last year. What happened last year? We released. There were 2 main modules, and each of them had their half module. So we had Cloak Ascendancy. We had Shroud of Souls, which I always want to say Soul of Shrouds.
Oh, look, they're right next to me.
And then we had and Swords of Chult. So there was a lot that came out.
Well, and shows, yeah, and all of Tomb of Annihilation, not just a zone, right? The zone, a new hub, and the dungeon. Yeah.
I mean, when I was going through, there's a lot. So, kind of what? So last year, everything that we released. What lessons do you think the team learned? You learned, good or bad, about the release?
Point out a couple more things that you forgot about, like the guild, right?
True.
The guild hall.
Yes.
One of the things that I've been working towards since we actually put in Stronghold. The guild hall room has always been there. We just finally had a chance to
open the doors.
So things that we learned. Learned from last year's releases was we had a lot of changes on the team during this year. Some people went over to Magic, some people went over to Star Trek. Just a lot of changes in general. So we got a lot of new people in. Some less experienced, some great.
Tickle.
Had to gel as a team to work together. So
Tickle, Thomas.
And within that, we were able to really work together.
Oh, do you like it, Thomas?
Content.
Oh, it's so good.
But there was some
Thank you, Gar. Oh, you're so better than me.
The other thing was a quality bar. One of the biggest things for this year was quality. Really hitting the quality bar.
Holy shit.
With not just both, but just in general, on the zone looking.
This is going to be a complete waste of an hour of time, guaranteed.
The repeatable stuff that you're doing over and over.
I don't care about the
on
past.
On the rewards, on the costumes, on the mounts, right? You know, all the cool stuff there. So quality was a real bar that we really learned from, and I think that let's see what else we learned. We learned a lot, and as we'll talk about later, about really interacting more with the players and getting a lot more player feedback.
Yep.
Right?
I by the way, when I speak of the team, I'm totally joining in on that because you guys taught me a lot last year, and I'm hoping you'll see improvements this year with community engagement. Something we learned, we learned a lot of lessons last year, and we definitely want to start acting on them this year.
Yeah.
Oh, FN Who's is in the house!
Taking great strides.
FN fucking Who's!
It's like, remember, Neverwinter is a community of 3 different platforms, right? And it's a challenge to us to remember. Well, not remember. We always know that, but like to listen to all those platforms and give them equal voice.
Yeah.
That is a huge thing that we're striving for.
And you all have very different personalities. PS4 is not the same as Xbox, even though they're both console, and they're not the same as PC.
I have the chat open too for their stream. I can see my chat and their chat right now.
Basically, taking care of all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, Thomas,
so, we spoke
show me the way.
Last year, what is the strongest lesson you feel the team learned, or the thing that will have the most impact going forward in Neverwinter?
Ooh, I think I think we hit all those. I think it had to do with some of the strongest features that we put out too, right? From the very beginning,
Root loops.
I wanted to push forward.
Yes.
With how to, because we play the game a lot, you got to grind some. How can we make that feel different and cool? Right?
Yeah, you mentioned repeatability.
Yeah, the Illusionist Gambit is an important thing. That was one of the first pieces that I wanted to try out to really get that. Like every time you play it, it's a different thing. And then taking from what we did that, the good and bad, and then learning lessons, building into the repeatable adventure quest.
Spike, oh my God, Spike, that was so mean,
where,
bro.
Each time it's a little bit different to kind of mix things up, gives you something new to play every time, right? With those little hidden gems, and that's something that we just keep working on and repeating on. I think that other features that we did that were strong, and other things that we learned from was based on player feedback. Like, I want to bring back the old dungeons. You guys want to bring back the old dungeons, and we were able to do that right in the River District. That was a lot of fun, and something that we're looking forward to as well. And then just really knowing that, and I said this I think last year in our State of the Game, that Neverwinter has a lot of different pieces to it. And sometimes we'll build a piece and then kind of it's not the new shiny anymore, and we kind of run off into other things. And that was true of what happened with Strongholds. So this year I really wanted to give Strongholds love, and which is why we opened up the guild halls. And
Nova's in the house too. You better fucking believe Nova's here too.
Came off okay. It's a bit of a frame rate hit, and we're tuning that, but that's a lesson learned, right?
And that's one of our hot topics, the Marauders, a siege event. That's actually in my second section. We'll expand a little bit more on that.
Pimp Juice, can I turn it up a little? I turned it up already once. Do you want me to turn it here? I'll turn it up a little bit more.
When I came back to the team, I kept saying that, like, doing refinement was like doing my checkbook. Like, it's like, I don't want to do it. I want to balance my checkbook. I want this to be fun and more exciting and have some sort of a slot machine kind of feeling chance of actually success.
I have less gems in my checkbook, though. My checkbook's pretty empty. Well, if you want to add more gems to my checkbook, we can talk later.
Plenty of rough astral diamonds, which is just a lump of coal. So that was a huge thing that we learned from and wanted to improve upon.
And so you talked about strongest. So some features, I think when you and I talked earlier, because we actually do practice runs. We practice for you guys.
So I don't say hamster so much.
Yeah, hamster. We talked about the Social Star River intro area. That was something that you talked about how it was really awesome, but it came at a cost. Right.
So again, going back to a team and a learning curve, and me coming on as a new lead and all the things I had to juggle. And where I can keep my eyes
Nova agrees with FN Whoza.
There's a lot of content that we build each time, and not all the content do you guys get to see, or we have to spend more time than we thought to
Captain Care, you like how you're watching a guy who's watching some other guys?
A great storytelling moment, and and getting Chris Perkins to do Volo, that was really super cool. I love that kind of star power in the crossover, which I want to talk about a little bit later, but it took a long time for us to put that together, a lot longer than I wanted it to, and because of that, we actually had to cut an instance out of the Chosen Star map, right? And we had to cut a critter group too, I think, that we wanted to do. There's a lot of things that we want to do, right? So there's a push and pull, and that was a learning curve.
We actually joked about yesterday how
Nathan James, Neverwinter is literally the best MMO in the world. You guys are amazing. Just saying.
Everything gets put on the floor.
That would be awesome.
That would be April Fool's right there.
More mimics than you guys could ever handle.
So I want to just dedicate 10 to 15 minutes in the first section. So the last couple minutes of this first section, I want to talk about Rocktober.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of chat already.
I know. I'm looking at the chat. I am, guys. I think we're going to hit the chat stuff towards the end of this, but I am looking at it. Yes. That's awesome. Thanks for coming in on that.
Environmental work just picked up nicely. I agree. Our environment team is amazing.
Our environment team is really working hard on that, right? But again, that comes at a cost, right? We want to make sure that your frame rate is still working really nicely, so you don't have to buy the highest end thing. So it's a real balance, and trying. I do.
Hamster.
Someone asked
so again,
Thomas Faust how he still has a job.
How many critters you can put on a map? How many things? How many player powers are we expecting? All that stuff is the quality bar that we're learning, especially with a lot of new teams. Okay, I'm sorry, but go ahead.
That's okay. No, you're the star. So,
no.
But I do want to talk about something that happened in the later half of last year, which was Rocktober.
Oh yeah.
Rocktober time.
Rocktober was to us, it was a great experience. I'll let Thomas talk more about it. But for those of you who may not have heard the term, I saw some new players join us. We dedicated the month of October
new players, Julia?
To
new players,
finding out what were top issues and squashing bugs. Now the caveat was that because the work was being done during October, you don't get to see the bug squashing until M13 releases. So
which is coming out soon.
For those on PC, February 27th. A lot of those bugs will be addressed, so expect a lot of patch notes. So you can all give Terramac some hard time because of the patch notes. But yes, October. How was it helpful to the team? Like, what value was it? Was there for us?
Well, you just say that I'm the rock star. I'm not. That's where the players come in to be the rock stars, right? Rocktober was huge. It is something that when I came on,
dude, I don't even like being next to these people, dude. It's driving me insane. Like, here, I gotta go on the other side of the screen. I can't even be. Oh, now they moved it. Okay, so now we'll go back.
Month of March that they worked, or they kind of
I can't even be
of saving up time
next to them.
Off of other modules, so they saved up some borrowed time so they could actually work and do that time and have a month of doing nothing but gameplay polish and fixes and stuff. And we wanted to do that as well. And you guys have been such a great feedback on the forums that we wanted to include you, right? So it was really your guys' month to give us feedback on what you wanted fixed in the game and ideas of things that we could change in the game. And I think it was a smashing success. You guys were super with your feedback, and we worked to respond as quickly as we could. And I saw a lot of great dialogues going on. So that was pretty awesome. Now, it wasn't just about your guys' stuff either, right? Our team, we have plenty of things that we want to fix. I'm constantly playing the game. I'm actually leveling up a new guy now, and I have a list of bugs that things like, oh my god, that door
I'm leveling up a new guy now. I constantly play the game. Sure you do, Tom.
So that was our month too of going in and fixing the things that we wanted to fix the game polish. And that's from anything from the art side, just fixing collision.
If any of these developers actually ran their own endgame dungeons, then the endgame dungeons probably wouldn't be as broke as they are. The drop rates wouldn't be abysmal as they are. But they don't play.
Things like that, right? Looking at sky files, better lighting so your characters look good. Looking at some power stuff. And of course, the big thing was power fixes, right? You know, and something that we had talked about earlier was where we couldn't delve down. All right.
Knew this was gonna happen.
Time out.
Love you guys. Good.
I told you. No.
The flu is no joke.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves. Player powers, right? I talked about this before, where we didn't have dedicated time to go into a full class balance on something, but we did want to hit a lot of bugs and topics, and you guys were great about feedback on that. And we hit, I think, most all of them, and some of the ones that we already had. And we got to dig a little deeper into the rogue. Now, that being said...
Quick interruption. Sorry for your ears. I'm trying to cover my mouth with coughing. If it gets too loud, I'll leave the room and let Thomas entertain you. Everything he says when he's alone in the room, please don't take it at face value.
So I want to let you guys know ahead of time that on the schedule is to dig deeper into Rogue and the Warlock. We know that they both need more love. I don't know if we're going to get a full rebalance of them, but we're really going to give them
Rogue and Warlock, and that's going to be the whole next year because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing.
Someone up to do that, right? So yeah.
So one of the things
there's no reason it should take as long as it does to fix your classes in your game.
Better perspective of the game from the players, or I guess the player perspective improved. It's something that the game team has always been involved in the forums, kind of in the back. They've been lurking, and then through the community manager, they get the feedback. But that month, they were able to kind of just see how the player base thinks. And I know that you guys, the community, have asked, well, that was a great experience. Are we going to do it more often? So is this something that you think the dedicated time to squash bugs or listen to the players and hyper focus on that. Do you think it'll happen again?
Yes, we are planning on it, but it's been in a little bit different way, right? First of all, I want to say that part of Rocktober was everybody getting in and playing the game, right? We actually got in and dedicated time at work. It sounds odd, but like, okay, let's go in and play this zone. Everybody go in this zone, give feedback on it, right? That kind of thing. Or just get in and play the game, level up your characters, and then find something that you want to fix, or find that thing that you're other playing with. So that was part of Rocktober too, was giving us time to be a player as well as engage with your players. So that was, so we get a lot of great perspective from that, right? And I totally forgot what your second part was.
Basically, if we're going to have it more often.
Oh.
Yes.
So I just mentioned that the Rogue and Warlock are things that we're focusing on. We won't be able to do a whole month with the whole team, but each module and each time we're actually scheduling sprints, we do dedicate a certain amount of time. Maybe it's the art team this week, or systems team this week, or content the next week, right? Or even audio. Going in and grabbing a bucket of those things and doing fixes. So it's an ongoing thing. Will we get another Rocktober? Man, I sure hope so. But I need to save that for other bigger things.
No, I'm going to try to come up with names for all the months. Ooh, that should be a community challenge. What would each month could be called for bug squashing? Rocktober and
Pimp Juice just said in the chat how he's done 85 runs of Temple and gotten 1 stone. Pimp Juice.
So
salty.
Think that kind of covers the first section. I didn't want to spend too much time looking at the past because we have so much great future to look forward to.
So much great future to look forward to. This game has no future. No future for this game.
Topics that the community is very passionate about, and I have alluded to them, or actually I pretty much spoke openly about them last time during the maintenance stream. And it was random queues, and we were waiting to see the console players getting random queues on their platform and looking at feedback. So now that everybody has random queues, how are we, listening to that feedback? How is the team processing and re-examining or evaluating? Where are we with random queues feedback?
Sure, that's a good question, and you guys have been very vocal on the topic about that. The idea of random queues was really to give you guys, I know it seems kind of like taking away choice, but the idea was to try to give you guys more choice in different ways to getting AD and blending about, right? We really want it to be a fun thing, and we wanted to make sure that it was a good balance all the way across. And now that we've seen like the console players and stuff playing, we're actually getting more feedback on how to actually tweak and tune that, right? And I think that this goes back to one of the things that we didn't do right, or not completely right, was that we think that random queues idea was good, but you guys were feeling that we weren't taking away agency to actually play the game you wanted. And that wasn't our goal, really. Our real goal was to give you more choices and easier ways to actually do your daily stuff that felt, so you weren't having to do the same thing in the same map that you thought was the fastest way over and over again. I wanted to give you more money or more AD to do that. I will say that, I'll preface it with, at first it was like, well, we're not getting enough AD. We've actually been looking at the charts, and especially now that we have across all the platforms, the AD level's actually gone up quite a bit per player overall, which is awesome, so that's good. But there's still the idea of like giving you guys choice and fixing some of the things where you kind of get locked up because of item level count. And those are the things that we're working on now. One of the things that we should have done was hold back on it a little bit until we got the thing that we're working on now, which is item level scaling. So for you guys that played skirmishes, we have the scaling where it scales you down so everybody's kind of at the same means to play. But item levels still actually made a big difference in that change. So now we've actually been working on the tech and got it in. We're actually playtesting it today before. I'm really excited.
Playtest.
Yay, playtest, because we playtest all the time. To actually make sure that item level scaling is working. So that'll give a better balance across a lot of those things. Another thing that we're talking about, and I'm stressing talking about, is even looking at a different queue setup, right? So right now we've got skirmish dungeon, epic dungeon. We're looking at maybe doing legendary dungeons for some of those ones that are a little bit harder, and have that higher item level score that we can tune and play with. Might be that the item level capping takes care of that. We need to look at that, and also for some of the unlocks, and that's something else that we're looking at. So we are looking at it. We're constantly looking. I've got 7 pages of printouts on my desk of feedback from you guys, plus a slew of the Reddit links and some of the Twitter feed links that Julia's given to me. So we do go about this. This is a topic we talk about every day.
Yes, I don't let them forget them. Then they don't. I mean, they don't forget it either.
And it's not just Julie coming and talking about it. I mean, it's the systems team talking. It's the content team talking. It's us talking with the engineers and system, right? It's us talking to the artist that played a queue last night and has his experience and what he felt and how he got locked out or how he had a great time playing or how he didn't have a good time playing, right? So there's a lot of topic. It's a big issue to us. We want to make it so it feels really good, and we're working towards that.
So that actually, you mentioned everybody talking about it, and I know a question that I've had and the community has asked is, how do these design decisions get made as a lead designer? What is your role, and do you get the final "I'm boss, you do everything I say" executive decision, or how do these things come to happen?
Hamster.
Yes.
Next question.
No, tell us what you do. Job description right now.
Okay, so yeah. Well, I'll cut to the chase. Do I make the final decision on the design features and content? No, I don't actually. It's the whole team that actually works together and build that. And as I came on as lead designer, that was something that I really wanted to stress. Is that it's the team building the entire game.
Oh, code readers in the house now. Look out, boys.
As lead designer, I work with our licensees like Wizards of the Coast, and I try to align with things like they just launched Stream Annihilation. Tomb Annihilation, we had Stream Annihilation. We wanted to get Omo and Chosen Star in there, which takes a lot of back timing to make sure that we can release on time. So I'm working with them. I'm working with Perfect World International, who's our owners, right? So working with them, making sure all the business needs are fed. I'm working with all the other licensors and other cool things to make sure that and that's just part of my job, right? There, and then it actually boils down to actually the in-game content and the moment-to-moment gameplay, and what we can do within a module, what we want to do this module versus next module, so there's a balance and interesting gameplay things. When we want to put in new events, how we're setting up new events, all that stuff is the job of a lead designer. Plus, I'm also looking at and playing everybody's stuff over and over again and giving them feedback, kind of like a director. Like, move this over here, check this out over here, have you considered this, what's the rewards for this, what happens if I play this backwards or as a wizard versus a guardian fighter, all that kind of stuff I'm looking at as a lead designer. I strongly encourage what we're going to be doing. So I'll give you idea, like I will say we're going to build a dungeon, and the dungeon needs to have this monster in it because we're featuring it from Stream Annihilation, like Acerak, right? How do we want to build that? And then the team comes up with pitches for that, right? And as a team, we actually work to.
These guys are giving me headaches already. I have a headache.
Seldom as a lead designer do I put the kibosh on something. Sometimes I have to cut, or I have to say we're running out of time. We need to stream that down, or or we need to really think about the rewards for this because of the time that you're playing. So that's my job. But I don't pass out everybody's like you're going to be building this and you're going to be building this. I don't do that. Otherwise, it'd be me designing the game, and you don't want that. There's a lot more smarter people on the team than just me.
I like how he points at me. But no, I mean, one of the things you do is mentorship as well. I mean, just looking at your calendar to try to schedule this. There is so much time you dedicate to each individual designer. So that's right. So, but yeah, I mean,
that's my job. I want to make them all lead designers someday, right? So I'm whether it's I've got a new hire right now, great up and coming, and I'm teaching him the ropes on how to build a mission, right? And then I'm teaching. One of our systems designer how to build encounters and how to make good gameplay out of those, and constantly working another designer working with our new cool dungeon coming up on how to get pacing so it feels good to you guys and you get a good pace and you're getting your dailies set up and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
So I think we were going to talk about something else, but I think I saw our special guest wandering around.
Excellent.
So I think I'm
special guest, boys. Here we go.
David.
Are you here? Yes, you are.
Sweet.
So it was kind of hard to put a chair. So do you mind standing in the middle?
Okay. Or just kneel between us. You're very tall.
But I did actually.
Wandering monster.
You get your own little Switch soon.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, man.
And those little icons were created by Jules.
Thank you, Jules.
So we each have our own little thing.
Oh, I'm a little scroll thingy. Okay, cool.
It's all zeros and ones.
It actually says something. It spells something out. But I'm not sure what it was.
Oh, you're telling all the players to go change it.
So, hi, David. Who are you on the forums?
My hazmat. All right, we used to know me as Danderson Dev. There's two accounts I use, but.
And so one of the things I want to talk about is the Foundry. I know it's a love for many of you, and it was recently down until Friday, and so we wanted to bring in David to tell us about what does it take to bring up the Foundry and what was happening. Just because he is the expert in all the engineering.
Exactly. So going back to, as a lead designer, like, I'm not the smartest guy. I could have just said, yes, Foundry's up and running and why. But really, David's going to actually explain why.
Oh, no.
These guys are heroes. Go for it, man.
All right. Is there any specific question you want me to answer?
So, what does it take? You kind of told me a little bit about it. I didn't know. What does it take to bring up the Foundry?
So, every time we make a major change to the way the game works, the way it bins stuff, we have to republish all of the missions that exist. And we classify the missions as sort of 3 categories. There's the featured stuff, which are the missions that we've blessed and said, that's an awesome mission. It's going to show up in the featured list. It's great. Then there are the important missions, and those are things that are everything that's been rated like a 4 or higher and has been played more than 100 times or 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Or
You have notes.
100. I know, I wrote it down because I didn't want to get these definitions totally wrong. Greater than 100 plays and rated 4 or higher. Those are the important category. And then there's the everything else category. Whenever we make an update that requires republishing, we have to republish all the featured, and that takes about a day to do those. Then all the important, and those take about 4 days, something like that, to republish. And then those are the ones that usually have problems. So we have to make some tweaks and then republish those again.
And by republishing, you mean it's an engineer taking time dedicating to actually checking through these? Or is it
not really. Mostly we click a button. We click a button and it grinds away for
until
days.
something stops.
But there's nothing we can do while it's grinding away. It's can't force it.
So like the common thing that broke it, well, one of the things that broke it for Russia this time is that there are some words that we changed in our profanity.
Coming up on almost 4:30.
UGC content.
30 minutes into this hour stream.
So we've said
Complete waste of
this word used to
time.
not be naughty. Now it is.
As always.
We are now blocking this mission from publishing. So there are about something like 9 projects on the Russian shard right now that cannot republish because they have changes to the profanity filters. So those will have to be changed and fixed by the actual author and then republished manually. Some more stuff.
So,
talk about like when we changed over from 32 to 64-bit.
Oh yeah, okay.
That was the big thing.
So here I'm going to give you my excuses for why it took so long for UGC recently. We made 2 major changes internally that you guys shouldn't have noticed at all. The first was we changed the way we optimize our code to have a debug build and what we call a house build, and then a
David, relax.
something else
You're
build.
saying relax.
Oh, I'm actually relaxed.
This is David, relax.
He's a very intense guy.
I just know I've got a lot of things to say that I have to get out. The 3 builds that we created, we had to now say what features belong in each part. What can we optimize out? What can we remove? What should never see the light of day outside of the building? Those flags were set wrong for a few of the stuff that we didn't realize was related to Foundry. So we have this system in Star Trek called Genesis that's kind of like Mad Libs missions. If you've played some of the Star Trek content that existed up until probably 3 years ago, something like that.
Or if you played a lot of the Champions Online, all the help missions,
similarly.
were all the Genesis missions we built using that system as well.
So part of that mechanism is the ability to bin projects, which means to make them into binaries that are good and easy to load. That process is very similar to UGC. So when we implemented UGC, we took a lot of that concept from Genesis and tweaked it and made it player facing, and now it's what you use when you publish UGC. When we thought, oh, Genesis has been dead in Star Trek for years, we don't need to worry about it too much, we can crop out a lot of this stuff and make it no longer present in the build. We forgot that Foundry was related to that. It's not the sort of thing we would catch internally because it requires the shard to be set up very much like live, and live shards are set up a little bit differently from the internal shards, so we didn't notice it until it actually went live. We tried it and went, whoa, whoops, we screwed up, try again. Every time we try again, it takes a week or so to make a fix, check it internally.
Like, no one cares about the Foundry. They are talking about something that's only on the PC, and they don't make any money on PC. They make their money from PS4 and maybe what's left of Xbox. They're talking about the Foundry. No one cares about the Foundry. Listen to this guy. This is what this guy does at work all day, and he's getting paid to do. Work on an old game mechanic that no one cares about.
On your machine,
Even the PC community, there's like a handful of people that even fuck around with the Foundry. And this is this guy's job. This is probably what this guy's been working on for the past 4 or 5 months.
You could have turned on Foundry a little bit earlier, but you wouldn't have been able to preview your missions. That would have been terrible, and so we just said it's not worth turning on.
I love it. I love it.
So there was optimizations. That was the first part. And the second part was adding support for 64-bit game clients, which is a project we've been doing since summer, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's happened on preview. We got a 64-bit client released. It's mostly to take advantage of all the extra RAM that a lot of your machines have. It's going to avoid more of the memory leak problems.
Let's not, you know, fix things that need fixed in the game. Let's work on old things that they've had forever and have been down and not working forever that they want to revive for maybe 2% of the total PC population. Because like I said, there's no Foundry on console, so waste of asset and resources.
Then once we released them live, we caught some different problems and it just became much more complicated than it was.
So, I mean, one of the things I'm seeing is, well, why are we giving so many explanation? It's because the Foundry often gets accused of not getting enough love, but I mean, that's a lot of work that goes into it. And I felt, you know,
the Foundry doesn't get enough love. No one cares. No one cares about the Foundry, dude.
Dave, I think, did a great explanation.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks.
Yes.
You have serious glitches, exploits, and game mechanics in your core game.
The founders of when we built Genesis and using it, right? So, and I love some of those missions are mine that are published, but I couldn't explain it that well. But what I did want you to show, and thank you, David, for doing that, is that it's not something that like this week we just started kicking it around to make it work. We've been working on this continually since summertime and over again. But it's like a really hard, you know, murder case, trying to find all the clues and things, and then the case goes cold, and then you got to start it all over again. That's part of how it is, and the reason for that is because Foundry is so separated from the rest of the game because of legal and other reasons that it's hard to jump in and out of that and find those things. So, but now we've got a hero. David and his team. David and his team have done this. Yeah. Yes.
No, I would take credit for this. I just get to be the one that says, "Go fix it, go fix it, go fix it, go fix it," and then they actually fix it.
This is the lead software engineer, guys. The lead software engineer, and this is what he's probably been working on for the past 5 months, 6 months.
So
and him and his team.
Stuff I would want to know. I would want to ask, but we have half an hour left.
Complete waste of assets and resources.
I might be, you know.
They should have left the Foundry dead, and that's it. Should never come back. Leave it in the past, dude. No one cares about it. Fix the core game.
Yeah, I do read the forums. Yeah, I do. As much as you guys say I don't.
Cryptic just cares way too much about its casual player base.
I'm reading the forums.
There's a lot of yelling between
my office.
The whole 2% of PC people that actually use or care about the Foundry.
So thank you. I mean, is there anything else you want to tell the players?
No.
Meanwhile, the other 98% of the population hates your company.
And
wonder why.
So there's something like 600,000 UGC projects. There's something like 2,000 important ones and like 500 featured projects. So you've got to sort of think, if everything takes 2 minutes each to do, that 600,000 number by 2 minutes is a long time. So that's why it takes so long to get all your missions republished when we do it.
But we're glad, I mean, but that shows the numbers and why we want to get the Foundry the love it is, right? And one of the things that we've done in Rocktober was the art team actually saved off a lot of the Omuan assets to actually get new Foundry maps in.
Which I think go live with
M13.
Yeah.
Cool.
And in life. Awesome. Thanks again, David.
Thank you so much.
I'm just going to get out of here.
Oh, calling out.
I told them that was your penitent pose for the Foundry being down for so long.
Holy shit. So, okay, we're up to a half hour.
All right. I realized that I forgot to do a giveaway between our first and second. So we're going to do 2 giveaways.
Ooh, 2 giveaways.
Let's do the Rainbow Story Panther.
Rainbow Story Panther. Here's your chance, boys.
If you're on PS4, we don't have it available. That's a whole other separate discussion. On what it takes to get codes for different platforms. So you get the hamster, and I might have some other options actually. Hamster. But no, we're gonna give a Rainbow Story Panther. So I have to let me just run up.
How does this work?
How does this work? I do. Let's see. And
it's like a lockbox. Go for it.
Let's see. It should have announced it. Did it announce it? I don't know if it announced it or not, but it was Wormwood.
A wormwood.
Wormwood.
LLWORM.
Yeah.
Woodall.
And
it's like a Welsh name.
Yeah. So congrats, Wormwood.
Yeah, cool.
I think you were in chat. Tells me you're in chat. If you're not in chat, please.
Then you're gonna be surprised when you get that cool map.
Yes. So little Wormwood, please go ahead and ping us. Give us a chat on the Twitch chat thing. So send me a message to Perfect World, and I'll get your information, and we will give you a prize. But I think since I missed, yeah, I know. Strumslinger, Andy said hello.
Hey.
Hi, Andy. It's amazing to hear from you.
Yeah,
we miss you. I'm sure the community misses you. But yes, Wormwood. Actually, let me copy and paste that name so that they know. Oh, sorry.
Pardon me.
Where's Andy? Is Andy in here? I didn't see him.
Stronghold Siege, one of the other big things.
I want to get one more thing.
Where's he at? He's not coming up in the
Ben,
chat.
so, yeah.
Is he?
Ben.
Yes. Well, I'm going to do one more draw.
Yeah.
Again
Draw.
for
I
Rainbow
must have
Starry
missed
Panther
it.
or Space Hamster.
Leop.
Leop
210.
Leop 210.
Well, I love your avatar.
Little diamond. So again, please ping us, chat us on Twitch chat, and we will get you your information so we can give you a prize.
Sweet.
Congrats. Leop 210. Leo P.
I like Leo.
Leo. Okay. I think we're going to be slowly going into the third section, which is the future of the game.
Future of the game. Here we go, boys.
About the hot topic, which is the Stronghold Siege event.
Yep.
And the Great Hall and the love we had talked about last year about giving to the guilds. Since that is a hot topic, but it's also something moving forward what we're gonna look at. So what are the plans? I know that the Marauders event, there's some concerns that it didn't deliver what players were expecting. Do you think it delivered what we were expecting, or what more work do you think needs to be done there?
Well, the plan was to okay, you guys have one event, and let's give the Stronghold a new event, right? And the Marauders idea with defending things was designed so that it was scalable for different size guilds, right? A small guild of like 10 guys could run and defend one bridge, or then run to the other one, or if you had a big guild or got alliances, you could actually kind of hold off all things. That worked really well in design. Now, once we actually got it in the game, what we started realizing was that we had to throw so many monsters out there that it started chugging a little bit. But it wasn't actually the monsters, it was all the crazy player powers that we weren't thinking about on the high-end guild of getting everybody together at that time. And that was actually causing some server issues and client-side issues. And so we started tuning back on that. The other thing was the rewards. Players were feeling that it wasn't enough work for what they were doing. And I think we've already tweaked that once, and if we haven't, it's on the schedule to actually review. But the idea is, again, we're trying to give you guys new stuff, but we don't always, it's hard, especially in big things like big guild type stuff, it's hard for us to play test that exactly. That's actually where our preview server comes in really well.
This is the future of the game? We're talking about Stronghold stuff that's irrelevant as well?
That feedback.
Anything else? He's like stumbling over his words because there is no future of this game.
And reviewed. Because you guys are giving us some live in-game stuff that we can't get.
They're going to keep out pumping
as the whole team.
Just
we
mediocre mod releases until eventually the game does die.
Entire teams, hours a day, 4 to 6 hours a week of testing, right? But that's about all the time we can usually give on something. In that
when I hear state of the game and you want to talk about future of the game, I want to hear about what you have planned for like mod 14, mod 15. What are you doing the rest of the year? And you're talking about Stronghold stuff, dude.
Looking at your guys' feedback on ways that you think would make it better and more challenging, and
holy shit, I'm gonna have an aneurysm here soon.
What I'm seeing is, why are we talking about Stronghold? It's a hot topic. It might not be a hot topic to some people, but it is a hot topic to others.
No, Julia, it's not.
People who invest a lot of time in working with guilds with their Stronghold.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
We do try to make sure all our players are taken care of.
My head hurts.
Endgame, new players, people who play the RPG
Holy
stuff,
shit.
The Stronghold, the dungeons, the trials.
I think I had a stroke.
But I did
I think I've had a stroke.
Talking about player feedback that comes from the preview. And one of the things I want to emphasize...
This is the problem with Cryptic. They listen to their player base at the casual level. So when Johnny fucking Scrubalicious over here says, oh, we need something to change with the Stronghold. He's a fucking scrub, dude. He should have zero opinion on the game.
It's not meant to be finished. That is not the finished product.
It's more like off Broadway, right? It's like we think we got.
They do not listen to the streamers. They don't listen to Huza. They don't listen to me. They don't listen to Nova. They don't listen to Mystic. They don't listen to the people that actually play their game and are toward or end game characters. You know, they listen to the casual player base that has no fucking clue what's going on.
That actually falls in when guilds are actually joining.
And that's the problem with Cryptic. Because it's a casual MMO. They listen to fucking Johnny Scrubblicious in the corner who has no clue what he's talking about.
Even what we consider smaller features like the fashion bag that's coming up.
I'm so triggered.
Awesome.
Well, I mean,
I'm so triggered right now, dude.
Yes, it's not new content, but it's not small in terms of what it means.
But it's really cool for us, yeah.
But it came out, and there was some very, very good feedback on the preview forums, and I know that Amy and Jules worked together to make the changes.
Yeah.
And that's actually why I had a fashion bag blog planned that had to be postponed because...
How do any of these people have jobs is beyond me.
Based on your guys' direct feedback. So...
Wizards of the Coast either just has no idea what's happening in this community and how their product is getting drugged through the mud, or they just don't care because they're still making some kind of profit margin on the game and it's still pleasing them. Wizards of the Coast should have pulled the fucking plug on this years ago.
And I'm seeing a lot of questions about class balances and different classes, people bring them out, is one of the things we talked about last year is that we had moved away from wanting to make major overhauls to one class at a time, and instead basically take the top issues across a variety of classes and address them in tandem. So is that something that's still
I literally have a headache right now.
Going forward, how is it working out? What plans are...
Oh my god.
Yeah, sure. It wasn't that we wanted to do that. It's just that we didn't have the skill set or the bandwidth to be able to spend and drill down, right? When Chris was working with us,
they can't be any more clueless than they are. It's either they're either really this clueless, or it's all an act, and they just don't care. They're gonna feed you this fucking bullshit, what they've been doing for years, and they secretly just don't care because they're still getting a paycheck.
But we still knew that we needed to.
Such a shame, man. Neverwinter could be one of the best games on the market. It could be. I've said that for a long time.
And then we got a little bit of extra time to fix a lot of the PvP fixes with Robert Gachera, who is the lead, right? And now has moved on to Magic.
We hadn't announced that yet, actually.
Oh, we hadn't yet. Yeah, Robert Gachera.
Yes, so some of you have noticed that Robert's not in the forums as much. The Magic team needed his expertise, so we were kind enough to give him to them. But he's still in the building, and we still talk. The other day, he came to talk to me about how our player's doing. He wants to follow up on Rocktober, so he's still here. But we do share resources in the building just because
we're one big family.
Yeah,
got to get games out. Yeah, but that being said, we actually hired someone in from QA, which is something here at Cryptic we do a lot, right? We actually hired through the ranks quite a bit. Tony Morasco is one of our new systems guys, and he's just doing an awesome job with all the critters and things. But he's also, because coming out of QA and PvP, the guy knows his powers, and he's been actually doing a lot of the Rocktober fixes you saw, and will be the one most likely delving in. It'll probably him and Doug delving into both the Warlock and the Rogue, the Trickster Rogue. Right?
There were already, he already wrote a few great threads on the Scourge Warlock during Rocktober, and then updates now that changes. So it's one of those things that we're doing this.
Yeah, we're still going to continue the layered approach, but there are times that we're scheduling to dig deeper and deeper in. Again, I don't know if it's going to be a full class rebuild. I don't know if we have the time for that. But
the layered approach is one of the problems.
They said Warlock, OMG. Yes, there's actually,
you have people that
main a Scourge Warlock right now. And
you have people that main a Warlock like me that are literally useless because you are layering your fixes.
A lot is, new classes. So can we?
Hey, let's take 6 months or 8 months to try to fix this class. That should be like a top priority.
Not the next few releases.
I know that's not the answer.
That's all I can say.
I know it's not the answer some of you wanted to hear, but I did want to, sorry for those Bard lovers and for my Twitter my tweet that made it seem like we were getting out of Bard bit. So not for the next releases, but it is a question that I will be asking.
Exactly, but
frequently.
But I don't. I can't. I'm really bad about almost giving stuff away.
Well, I mean, there was a question, was like, you know, can you give us any insight into what the rest of the year looks like? So, what can you tell us about?
Yeah. Okay. Because we have to build stuff, especially when we want to get it on console in time, which seems odd because you guys get it a little bit later, but we have to actually submit it much sooner, right, and get everything on schedule. We're actually building out all the way through 2018 and scheduled already in the beginnings of 2019. You know, that's part of my job as lead designer, is figuring out that roadmap, that plan, and don't think it's not influenced by what you guys were saying. So the big goals are like you know, working. One of the things that we're seeing is like Dungeons and Dragons in general is just huge and opening up, and we're seeing, you know, going to PAX and all the cool things there, and Matt Mercer and his group doing their stuff, and getting, you know, getting people like Chris Perkins into the game to voice Volo was really awesome. So we're looking at ways to expand how we can cross over into those worlds and just make that whole D&D experience really great. You know, working with Wizards of the Coast. You know, shout out to John File and Kate and Ben, all those people out there who work with us almost daily to help to inspire us and give us cool content to work with. It's really neat, right? So we want to. It's a lot of crossover stuff coming on this year that I'm super excited about. And then you know, looking again to stories. You know, we were able to go back to. I love that Wizards of the Coast has gone back and doing things like going back to some of the old school stuff, you know, like the Tomb of Annihilation and opening up Omu. That was super exciting for us. So we're looking at doing similar things in the future, which is all I can say.
Yeah, we can't mention, but
yeah. So
really cool.
So there's that. The other big thing about the future is looking towards more events. We've already been working on updating events. Salim just updated a bunch of stuff in the Halloween event. Kind of a spoiler there, and we're looking at like I think I said this earlier, where we're taking the old events and mixing them up a little bit and make sure the rewards are cool.
I'm probably going to upload this video to YouTube later, so shout out to Nova for trying to call me out right there in the chat. I know you guys won't be able to see the chat in this video if you're watching the replay on YouTube when I upload this. Fuck you, Nova, you're a piece of shit, just so you know.
Every day I walk by systems, I'm like, we're giving away 5 cool words each day, right? And like nope.
And then production's like, how are we going to do that? But no, we do have things planned for the 5-year anniversary. I'm looking forward to it. I've been working on it since last year. I mean, ever since the 4th, pretty much.
We're super excited about it. And thank you guys in advance. Come to the party. Believe me, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I don't know if we confirmed about the B modules. Do we?
Well, I said basically that we're no longer really doing the B modules as such. The idea is that we're actually going to release 3 large modules throughout the year, and then interspersed between those modules is when
3 mod updates a year is what he just said.
Event refreshes and things, right? And adding new events when we can.
Yeah. I just wanted to kind of, because I know that the B modules have always been
3 module releases a year, and if they still only release 1 dungeon per mod, this game's done.
No, that's actually being rolled into it. Yes. So, for instance, oh my gosh, what can we talk about? Well, we've already talked about the item level scaling as part of the thing we're talking about, right? And you know, and the refinement stuff that we've already been working on. So that's a couple of things that I can talk about. But yeah, the whole idea is that just gets rolled into the bigger modules.
So one of the things I did want to show is, before I open it up to questions in the last 15 minutes, is so the travel posters that we released for Tomb of Annihilation, our artist Jen, she made some additional ones for Omu. And I wanted to show 2 of the 3 today because I think they're fantastic. I'll be releasing them as wallpapers, like digital wallpapers like we did the other ones, but these are kind of things that, you know, it adds flavor to our content. It's great for the designers and for the team to see this is the stuff we work on. How is it viewed on a global scale, larger scale? It's like travel posters, and it adds that layer of D&D flavor that really enriches the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first one is the Welcome to Omu poster. Hopefully it comes up.
Oh, here we go, boys. The art. Here we go.
So this one is
best
Omu
part of the stream, right here. Right here.
Safe place to
show me the artwork.
Yeah, I mean, what could happen there? Nothing. Nothing's gonna go wrong there. I mean,
we don't need it, Claire.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, it's vibrant, and of course, we go from safe to what happens here. The next one is my personal favorite.
Yes, the Shrine of Wongo.
Yes.
You players will experience this Shrine of Wongo deep in the Undercity of Omu.
Excuse me. So these are fantastic. I did just want to give out a special shout out to Jen for these.
That would make such a cool tiki mug.
They would. I need. Okay, yeah. Let's make that happen.
I'm gonna work on it.
So, just wanted to show you guys that, and then now I'm going to open it up to, I'm going to actually look here and open it up to questions. Is actually, there's any question you have for the community?
Oh, here we go. 10 minutes of questions from the toxic community that the chat has just been non-stop nonsense.
It's a lot of fun.
So one person actually asked why make the posters if we have to fix the game. The posters are made by, we have
oh, here you go, Husa. They're answering your question.
Her job is she does not do art for the game. She does not do any game content design. Her entire job is to do the art that's in the peripherals. So like web pages, banners, stuff like this. The art, you know, sometimes the internal T-shirts that we get. So that is her entire job. She's shared across all teams, and so does not take away from work being done in the game.
And actually, who said that? I can't remember who said that.
It was
but I want to say, it actually does help fix the game because these posters are around the room and they inspire us, right? And they people get excited about it and they see things and they're building the game and they want to polish the game and make it even cooler. So it's part of that. It's also in part of the marketing stuff and talking about crossing over into different platforms and worlds. It's getting more players into the game, which makes a better experience for everybody playing, right? Getting more people into your guilds and stuff like that. So that's why we do these things.
So one of the questions I saw, they're going really quick.
Oh my gosh, you guys, so many questions, cool.
Because well, one of these,
so many questions, cool.
Current priority and fixes and why? Like what are?
Oh my God,
priority and fixes are anything critical and crashy.
Wait, actually, I mean, one of the things when QA.
Maybe if you actually had a good development stream, you wouldn't have as many questions as you have right now.
And then non-critical.
Non-critical.
Yeah.
So it's So that's something that internally, that's how we gauge them. Showstoppers are, I'm assuming, things that would just, the game's not going to go.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's an issue right now, and actually, if you guys can help me fix this, right now we've had 7 reports where the treasure chest in the Rosnisi fight at the end did not show up.
There's more than 7.
Well, the confirmed ones that we have with videos and stuff like that, right? So that is a showstopper. I've got 3 of my designers working on that right now. Plus, I was working on it. Plus, the person who originally built the dungeon, who's now actually moved on to Magic, has also been looking at it to figure out how to reproduce.
So the person that built
so that's one of the
Tomb of the Nine isn't even working on Neverwinter stuff anymore. He's working on Magic the Gathering.
Pointing over here, David.
GG.
About
Neverwinter's dead.
It's
Done.
Done. Oh yeah, it's that and fix it.
Anyone that disagrees with that statement, you are blind. You are so blind, it's unreal.
Sometimes even to the point where we doppelganger your guys' critters.
I've been saying it for the past 5 months. They're going to continue to milk Neverwinter for whatever revenue they possibly can, and Magic the Gathering will launch.
Yes, that's, I mean, it's something that...
and it'll be a rinse and repeat because Cryptic's making Magic the Gathering. They're not going to learn from their mistakes.
If you don't see it on social media, on Twitter and Facebook, it's just because we don't usually use those channels to get bug reports. That's the forums, Reddit, that's the main, because it allows for bigger communication. But yeah, I mean, and the thing is that content is currently live, so normally if we find a showstopper before the content goes live, we try to fix it before, but this is something that occurred after the content was live. Yeah, so,
and you know, again, sorry about those kind of bugs, but we just don't find them until you guys play them a certain way. And for those of you that have actually put videos out on YouTube, those are super helpful to us because we can literally go back frame by frame and figure what ticks and things are, and those do help us. Kind of, it's like, you know, it's like a crime scene camera, figuring out exactly what went down and play it moment to moment. So those are helping. But this is a hard one to dig into. But we, like I said, I've got dedicated resources on that right now.
So there is a question from our good friend Tolkien Buff.
Hey, Tolkien.
Yeah. Have you looked at the number of small procs and boons, feats, and chants? Oh my goodness, stop moving. That cause lag and graph degradation in the endgame content, especially in Tomb of the Gods. So.
Yep. That's actually one of the things that one of our senior designers, Jared's been looking at, trying to figure out a little bit out. But I'm going to remind him about that. So let me write that down. Or is that? Can we save that?
This will get saved later.
Procs and prods. I'm on it. Yes. I know that he was looking at it. We talked about it, but I can see if we can bubble that up.
So, question to remove the +5 ring achievement in Xbox One. That's a conversation when the achievement first came out that we had, and we actually cannot change achievements on Xbox. The documentation, the internal documentation that we get from Microsoft on how we can set things up, and this is something that I actually had to talk to our core systems team about this because they're the ones that set up achievements. We can't remove them. Now, we have discussed ways that in the future we can work around them. So that's something I've been talking to one of our producers, especially Ben, who's one of the bigger Xbox players on our team, about how to address this. So we are aware, and it also will make us look at achievements with a more critical eye going forward. But unfortunately, we cannot remove that achievement at this time.
Yeah, it basically boils down to there are legal requirements on how achievements work on Xbox, and we're still learning about them.
Can we get a mod to just expand the Moonstone Mask? So this reminds me that earlier today I was reading an interesting forum thread that made me laugh about how they described the Moonstone Mask. I'm not going to repeat it now, but if you want to look in the forums for it, it's an honest review of Neverwinter, and one of the posts described. It's
kind of our don't ask, don't tell area.
Yeah, it's
I like to think of it as the UN building of the Neverwinter world, right? Like, or kind of like Las Vegas.
There we go. What happens in Moonstone Mask stays in Moonstone Mask, which is why it's a floating island in the side there.
Expand upon it? Interesting. I've often thought about, are there no UGC doors in Moonstone Mask that you can actually expand upon? I look about that.
Yeah,
okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's see.
One more thing about Moonstone Mask. I do know that we've actually brought it up to feature in a future thing. So I like the Moonstone Mask. I built it, or parts of it.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, here's a question that's actually been asked before. Can we get the option of dyeing our weapons or removing at least the enchant effect? That's something that I get.
So yes. So enchant effects is something that we absolutely are working on currently, and to what level we can do that, I'm not sure where we're going to land, but we are looking at how you can either turn on or off effects, whether it's just on you or on other players as well. Absolutely. Dyeing's a cool idea. I know that another big thing that that we're looking at that's on the list, but not permanently scheduled, meaning not set to schedule again the whole year. Very quickly, when I schedule out for a year, we're scheduling out like all the high points of things, the big markers, right? And then we have space to fill in those little things. So this kind of thing, like we're talking about, are one of the things that go into those other slots. And transmog is something, right? Like I had this awesome instrumentar low level, I transmogged it, and then I leveled up the weapon, and like I never found another transmog. Like, no, man, this should just feel like once you transmog, you always got it. So that's actually something I was talking to David Anderson about just last week. And he feels the same way, so it's something we want to get on the map. So, and that should include tinting and dyeing.
Yep. So another question I saw is, when will developers play PvP against the players? So actually, one of the things, if you guys notice, I'm trying to do something for every month. This month was the state of the game. Next month will be the Reddit AMA with our systems design.
It wasn't someone from Black Lotus asking, was it?
And then for March or April, it's going to get kind of busy in the spring. Won't give reasons why, but it's going to get busy. I'm going to see if we can get together our PvP team to play against players.
It's been brought in.
It's been, it's on the calendar for this
My
year.
chest
just not
hurts.
on a specific month yet because
I just want you guys to know that I've had at least 2 strokes, a heart attack, and an aneurysm in my head since this fucking stream started.
I'm happy to say I hold high rank.
So another question I'm getting is transfer characters between platforms. That's just not, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Restrictions.
But they don't talk nice to each other.
Yep, the restrictions are.
It's not you. Mom and Dad still love each other. Yeah, it's
it's
really
not you. It's them.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Believe me, I wish we could.
Let's see.
You guys, so many good questions. Thanks.
So many good questions.
Why do we support the streamers who stream your game? So that's something that falls on me. That's not the game team. I mean, they can give me peripheral support. That falls on me. Supporting streamers. I needed to get my house in order. I needed to get my community in order, and set. What standards do I have for myself? It felt unfair last year with all this, learning new things, to then try to open it up to the streamers and say, okay, how can we work together? Now that I feel like I'm a little bit more, we're looking good. That's something that is definitely on my to-do list, to engage with streamers. My first goal is to build a healthy streaming community. you know, this is something that other players look at.
Healthy streaming community.
And
I'm
I want
out.
them to get a sense that the Neverwinter
I'm out.
community is a healthy construction.
They won't even approach me.
But that's on my to-do list now that I'm getting my things more in order.
And I'm going to shout out to Julia.
Don't worry, FN will be
Nova
all over
Here's my
that
handler,
shit. Nova will
she
be
makes
all
sure
over
my
that
schedule works
shit.
for these kind of social things. But you've been doing an awesome job. The community's been really receptive, and you've just been a great voice to the community and getting out things like this. So yay! Thank you.
New PvP maps.
We have been talking about it. We actually have one that we built a long time ago that we did not release, and so we're looking at dusting it off and seeing if it still plays the way that we thought it did with how PvP plays.
Let's see. Can we have the old Castle Never? You kind of alluded to that about bringing back.
That's kind of like the director's cut. Right? The old version of Castle Never used to take. That was back when we were first designing and releasing the game. That map would take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to play. We've cut it up and kind of tried to make the length versus the rewards equal to our other current maps and zones. We'll see. But I think there are other parts that we could definitely feature.
There are so many things just coming way too fast, and it's
My
actually
chest hurts.
1:59.
No.
I just a lot. So this is not the end. We're going to be a lot more developer engagement.
I love you, Julia.
Thank you. You make me look good. So I want to do one final giveaway, and then we're going to call it. So let's do one. Buffy Noun 1. So
Buffy Noun. Buffy Noun.
Buffy Noun 1.
Multi-pass.
I just shake my head.
So
all you
go
can
ahead
do.
and ping me on Twitch. Congratulations.
Yay,
We'll
That's
talk
all you
details.
can do, boys. Shake your head.
There's always a ton of questions still pending.
Here, we'll have some fun.
We are still listening. We will answer them as much as we can. I have a whole year of
Tell me
community
more,
engagement things
Julia.
to plan out.
Yeah.
Tell me more how
I will
you
never
were
stop
going to bring
harassing
the community
Tom,
together
or
of
Tom.
the streamers.
Tom,
Yes?
No.
Yes?
Tom or Tommy.
Oh,
Like my Irish gangster.
Thomas.
Tommy, okay.
Why don't
I
you
will
tell
never
me
stop
more? Why don't you
harassing
look for
Tommy
another
to,
job, Thomas?
give,
Because you're not
engage
doing
with the
very
players more.
well
So,
with this
thank
one
you
right
everyone
now.
joined.
Maybe you should
you guys have been
probably
great.
move on.
Thanks
Just
so
leave
much.
Neverwinter behind.
I hope we covered some of the topics. The state of the game. Bottom line, we love you guys.
Get the
playing.
fuck
We're
outta
engaging with
here,
you,
dude.
And we're trying to make the awesome content that you guys want to play. And I think we got some really great stuff coming up in the future. Big things.
We just can't talk about it.
Which you can't.
It's soon. All right, let me see.
And you're gonna M13 Omu. Totally have fun exploring it.
Yes, and please play on.
See
preview
my
and,
expression,
give
guys?
us more feedback.
This
And
is
give us your
what
videos of
Neverwinter
when the
is
tyrant
now.
eats you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
You have
Bye.
a great afternoon.